the ball. She followed her jailer down sterile halls, weaving further into the facility than she'd been taken before. They walked past rooms she'd never been admitted to, which undoubtedly held horrors like those she knew far too well. Rooms where surgeries were performed without consent, where talons were amputated like warts, where lives were ended without remorse. He stopped at a sleek metal door without a sign, one she didn't recognize. "Where are we?" she demanded in her native tongue, refusing to take a step closer, despite the menacing escort behind her. "English, Sabal," he commanded, turning and giving her an indulgent look. He so enjoyed this game, forcing her to speak the language of her captors, of the chosen few. While her people lived in squalor, these humans were treated like sacred cows. Just wait until they are led to the slaughter. They'll never see their end coming. She asked again in his native tongue, a simple enough language, perfect for these stupid beasts. For them to learn Jakkattu would be a feat of intelligence beyond their capacity. Her people were forced to speak only English in the presence of the stupid guards, passing on the legacy of their native tongue in private. Perhaps that was why the humans were spared the Mesna cruelty. Inferior minds made for perfect slaves. "I discovered something interesting in your blood during our last examination, and I formed a theory. Here we will explore the possibilities." The priest spoke as if to a child, one whose talon hadn't yet burst their knuckle. "What theory?" "Now, Sabal, what fun would it be if I ruined the surprise?" A guard pushed her forward as the priest opened the door, where she found an examination table with straps hanging from the sides. Cuffs for hands and feet dangled dangerously, threatening her with their potential. At the top, a strap lay across the table, ready to immobilize even her head. She'd been on tables like this before, for the experiments where they chose not to sedate her. Adrenaline flooded her system as fear took hold of her, but she clamped down, refusing to shudder before him. Julep thorn. They veered off on a rocky trail covered by scrub brush and wound through overgrown trees to hide the path, but it was there. She kept up with Norwood despite his more confident stride. "Do you ever think there's more to being human than working and birthing? Ma sits on the council and decides people's fates all day long, from stealing to running around with boyos they ain't promised to. She's always reading those old lineage books, but she don't do anything." "Like what?" "Like that." Julep pointed above the trees out over the sea and toward the wingless birds the Mesna used to travel from city to city. "You want to fly?" "Yeah, nah. I want to know how to fly." "We ain't allowed to know that." Only miscegenates still had the technology humans had used to ruin the world. She scowled at him and stood her ground. "That's more temple talk. We ain't supposed to be out here either, and you ain't supposed to talk about not wanting a wife, but we're doing that too." He stopped and faced her with a quirk of the eyebrow. "What crawled into your head today?" "Nothing, just thinking." "Sure." "Don't you want to know things? More?" Before he answered, they reached the peak, and instead of veering left toward the ocean and docks, he went right. The perimeter of the reservation was an electric fence. More than one kid had touched it on a dare and ended up brain dead or paralyzed. "Where are you taking me?" "You promised you could keep a secret." "I can." "Swear." "Norwood, we ain't kids no more, and I already promised." "Swear on Ma, swear on Nana, swear on everything you believe." "I dunno what I believe, but I swear. I swear to you, I won't tell no one." "All right." About 3 meters from the fence, Norwood approached a tree and pulled aside a bush covering its trunk. But instead of bark and roots, there was a hole in the ground. "You go through here, and you'll be outside the ecozone. In the wilds. Out there it'll just be you and me." "We going outside?" "If you want to see more, we have to go out. Haven't found no answers, but out there, I found a full head of questions." She nodded and stepped close. "What do we do? Just crawl in?" Norwood smirked and made a grand arm gesture for her to go first. Julep climbed in and crawled in the black, feeling the dirt and roots brush against the top of her head. The tunnel was cold and dark. Nothing down here except the next step forward.